Let me tell you about a guy I know. Cool dude, decent job, ambitious. He met this girl, and from the first second, he was hooked. She smiled, and boom, he was already planning their wedding in his head. On the first date, he laid it on thick. "You're so beautiful. Wow, you're just perfect. You're different from every girl I've ever met." He thought he was being sweet. He thought she'd melt. But you know what happened next? She smiled politely and then ghosted him, just like that. What went wrong? He didn't yell, he didn't lie, he wasn't disrespectful, he was too nice, too available, too eager to impress. And that right there is what most guys don't get. Being nice the wrong way doesn't make you more attractive. It makes you look desperate. When you compliment her just to win her over, you're actually repelling her. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to compliment a woman without looking weak. How to build real emotional connection without chasing validation, and how to position yourself as a man she deeply respects. Because you're not just another guy trying to win her approval. You're different. And after this, she'll feel that too. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe if you're ready to transform how you handle relationships using the power of Stoicism. Every video is a step toward mastering your mindset and building stronger, more meaningful connections. Let's get straight to it. Most guys, when they compliment a woman, they do it in a way that just doesn't land. Why? Because they're focusing on the wrong things. Men are conditioned to compliment a woman's appearance. It's like an automatic reflex. You see her, and the first thing that comes to mind is, "Wow, you look gorgeous. You're so beautiful." Now, don't get me wrong, complimenting her looks isn't bad. But here's the thing, it's surface level. Here's the problem. Those kinds of compliments, they're not memorable. They're the kind of words every guy says, and she hears it all the time. For example, telling her she looks beautiful is nice, but it doesn't make you stand out. It's expected, boring even. It's the kind of compliment that makes her wonder, does he even mean it? Does he just say that to every woman? Now, let's flip it. What if instead you said something like, "I love the way you express yourself. There's something unique about your energy." Orient. You have this way of making everything feel more interesting. It's rare. Notice the difference? The first compliment is just about her looks. The second one acknowledges her presence, her energy, her uniqueness. It's personal and it's memorable. Here's the thing. What most guys don't realize is that complimenting her looks is an example of external validation. You're focused on things that other people can see, and that's what most people will comment on, her appearance. It's easy, it's safe, but it doesn't make you stand out. You're just adding to the noise. But internal validation, that's where the real power is. When you compliment her personality, her mindset, her presence, or her character, you're touching on something deeper. You're acknowledging who she is inside, not just how she looks. That's the kind of compliment that leaves a lasting impression. In the long run, external validation, the kind that focuses on appearance, doesn't create true connection. It's temporary. It's nice for a second, but it fades away. But when you recognize something more meaningful about her, the things that come from within, that builds a deeper bond, it shows that you see her for more than just her outer shell. And that's what makes the difference. Now, let's talk about something crucial, what your compliments are actually communicating when you don't choose your words carefully. It's easy to think that a compliment is just a nice thing to say, right? But here's the reality. The wrong compliment can say more about you than it says about her. And it's not always a good thing. This one's classic. You walk up to her and say, "You're so beautiful." Sounds harmless, right? But here's what that compliment actually conveys, even if you don't realize it: scarcity and desperation. Think about it. When you say something like that, you're putting her on a pedestal. You're telling her that her beauty is the most important thing about her, and you're not the only one noticing it. Now, why does this matter? Well, scarcity comes into play here. When you make her beauty the centerpiece of your compliment, you make it seem like her looks are all she has, and subconsciously, that can make you seem like you're the one who's lacking. You're showing her that you're desperate to get her approval because you're too focused on something superficial, her external appearance. Another one guys often use is, "You're different than all the other girls." Now, at first glance, this may seem like a nice thing to say. It's supposed to be a compliment, right? But in reality, it's a toxic comparison. By saying this, you're implying that other girls are all the same, and by extension, that they're somehow inferior to her. It's a subtle way of saying you're the exception and everyone else is not as good. Here's the issue with that. It creates unnecessary competition. It pits her against other women. Why would you want to make her feel like she's being compared to others? It's not only disrespectful to other women, but it can also make her feel like she has to prove something to you. So, here's the real kicker. When you give these kinds of compliments, they actually put you in a weaker position. Let me explain. By complimenting her solely on her appearance, you're making it seem like that's all you value. And when you focus only on surface-level traits, it shows that you don't have the confidence to recognize something deeper about her. In other words, you're lowering your own value. You're not showing her that you're capable of meaningful connections, or that you see her for the person she really is. When you choose your compliments wisely, you can create a real connection. But when you stick to these superficial comments, you're essentially putting yourself in a position of neediness. You're seeking validation from her, and that's never an attractive quality. So the goal here is not to avoid compliments altogether, but to make sure that when you compliment her, you're lifting her up in a way that aligns with your own value and shows you see her for who she truly is, not just her looks. Want to know how to compliment her in a way that shows you're a man of value? Stick around, because in the next part, we're going to break it down. All right, now I want to hear from you. So far, we've covered some powerful ways to compliment her genuinely, but I'm curious, what's the best compliment you've ever given or received? Drop it in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. But here's the twist. Think about the last time you gave a compliment with intention. Maybe it was about her character or a quality you really admire. How did it feel? Did you notice a deeper connection? Comment below with this phrase. The best compliment isn't about looks, it's about authenticity. I can't wait to see what you think, and I'll be replying to some of your comments too, so let's talk. Your thoughts might even inspire someone else to compliment more meaningfully. Let's make this discussion about real connections, not just surface-level stuff. Go ahead, hit those comments, and let's get personal. All right, now that we've covered what not to say, let's dive into how to actually give a compliment that builds real connection and positions you as a man of value. This is where we bring in the Stoic compliment method. It's not just about the words you say, it's about the intention behind them and how you say them. So here's the deal. When you're complimenting someone, the goal isn't just to make them feel good. It's to connect with them on a deeper level, while still showing that you value yourself and your own worth. Let's break it down. The first part of the Stoic compliment method is to compliment their personality traits, rather than focusing on external factors. So instead of commenting on how beautiful she looks, which, as we discussed, can come across as superficial or desperate, try complimenting who she is as a person. For example, let's say you notice her sense of humor. Instead of saying, "You're funny," you could say, "I really admire how you always bring such lightness to the room. You make everyone feel at ease." Impact. This shows that you're paying attention to her personality, not just her looks. You're acknowledging her impact on others, which speaks volumes about her character. It's not just a compliment, it's a recognition of her true essence. Timing is everything. The Stoic way is to compliment her during spontaneous moments, when her actions align with her true self. This makes the compliment feel authentic rather than rehearsed or forced. For example, let's say she steps up in a conversation with confidence and shares a vulnerable thought. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment to compliment her, you could say, "I admire the way you speak your mind so freely. It takes real courage to be that open." Impact. This compliment works because it's in the moment. She just demonstrated courage, and you're acknowledging it while it's still fresh. Not only does it show that you notice her inner strength, but it also makes her feel seen and understood in a genuine way. Here's a big one. When you compliment her, do it with intention and emotional balance. What does that mean? It means you're not complimenting her because you expect something in return. You're not looking for a reward, like a smile, a thank you, or any kind of validation. The Stoics believed in acting with virtue and without attachment to external rewards. Your compliment should come from a place of genuine appreciation, not out of neediness. For example, "I really respect how you handle challenges with such grace." It's inspiring to watch. Impact. This compliment speaks to her resilience and grace, showing that you admire her strength in tough situations. What makes it powerful is that it's given freely. There's no hidden agenda. You're not trying to win her favor. You're simply recognizing something that deserves to be acknowledged. Let's look at a few more examples. 1. You have this incredible authenticity about you. It's refreshing. Impact. You're highlighting her ability to be true to herself, which is a trait that is rare and valuable. It's a compliment that makes her feel appreciated for being genuine, not for conforming to societal standards. 2. I love how you approach every challenge with such calm and poise. It's inspiring. Impact. This complements her composure and strength in difficult situations. You're recognizing a Stoic quality, the ability to remain calm and balanced, even when life is chaotic. It positions you as someone who values inner strength and emotional intelligence. 3. You're one of the most thoughtful people I know. The way you consider others' feelings shows real depth. Impact. You're acknowledging her empathy and thoughtfulness. This is a compliment that highlights emotional intelligence, something far more valuable than physical appearance. It shows you value her inner character. The key takeaway here is this: compliments that focus on personality traits, actions, and inner qualities are not only more meaningful but also more memorable. When you do this, you're building a connection based on substance, not just surface-level admiration. Now that you understand the Stoic compliment method, it's time to put it into action. Start complimenting with intention and watch how it changes the way you connect with people. When you recognize and appreciate someone for their true self, not just their looks, you'll notice a huge difference in the quality of your interactions. Now, let's bring in the Stoic philosophy, because this isn't just about complimenting someone in a strategic way. It's about aligning yourself with a deeper sense of inner control, dignity, and the ability to observe the true nature of people, beyond just their appearance. Let's take a look at this powerful quote from Epictetus. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This reminds us that the Stoics valued self-control and the ability to truly observe others. A man who practices Stoicism doesn't get distracted by superficial things, like how someone looks or acts for validation. Instead, he focuses on the inner qualities and the actions of others. This is a key aspect when it comes to complimenting the right way. Here's the thing: when you master your emotions, when you have clarity internally, your compliments become more genuine and meaningful. You're no longer seeking external validation or trying to impress others with superficial words. Instead, you're coming from a place of true respect and admiration. Let's break this down. A man who has self-control doesn't compliment someone out of desperation or neediness. Instead, He observes the person with clarity and wisdom, appreciating them for their true qualities. This comes across as authentic because he isn't trying to get something out of the compliment. His intention is pure. For example, imagine you're talking to a woman who has shown strength and courage in a difficult situation. Instead of simply saying something like, "You're beautiful," or "You're different from others," you might say, "I respect the way you handled that situation with such composure. It's rare to see someone with such courage." This shows that you're not only noticing her external actions, but you're also acknowledging the strength and character behind those actions. This makes the compliment feel more substantial and genuine. To really understand this, let's compare two men. The first man, let's call him John, constantly seeks validation. His compliments are filled with flattery. They sound nice, but they lack depth. He might say things like, "You're so gorgeous," or "You're the most amazing person I've ever met." These compliments might be well-intentioned, but they come from a place of neediness. John is looking for a response, whether it's a smile, attention, or affection. Now, the second man, let's call him David, has mastered his emotions. He understands that true value comes from within, not from what others think of him. His compliments are less frequent, but when he does speak, it's because he truly observes the person. He might say something like, "I admire your ability to stay calm in a stressful situation." That's real strength. David is not looking for validation. He is acknowledging her for her true qualities and for the impact she has on the world around her. The difference is this: John's compliments often sound empty because they are driven by his own insecurity and desire for approval. In contrast, David's compliments come from a place of inner strength and clarity, and that makes them powerful and authentic. The Stoics believed that self-control is one of the most important virtues a man can have. If you're constantly driven by external validation, you will never feel truly fulfilled. Complimenting others from a place of emotional clarity, where you see the person for who they truly are beyond just the surface, makes your words meaningful. It creates a deeper connection and shows that you are a man who operates from a place of dignity and wisdom. Now that you understand the power of Stoic thinking in your compliments, remember that it's not just about what you say, it's about who you are when you say it. The more you practice self-mastery, the more your compliments will become an extension of your inner strength and respect for others. Now, before we wrap things up, there's a huge mistake that many men make when it comes to compliments, turning them into a seduction technique. It's tempting to use compliments as a way to manipulate or get something in return, whether it's attention, affection, or validation. But here's the truth: manipulation never sustains true attraction. It might work in the short term, but it will backfire when the woman realizes that your compliments aren't genuine, but instead part of a strategy. When you compliment someone from a place of neediness or with the intention to manipulate, it shows. And while you may get the attention you want momentarily, it won't create any real connection. In fact, it will likely make you seem disingenuous or even desperate. The true compliment, however, comes from a place of genuine admiration and respect. When you compliment someone as a complete man, you're not expecting anything in return. You're giving without a hidden agenda, acknowledging the other person's real qualities. This is what creates true attraction, not manipulation or playing games. A man who knows his value doesn't need to use compliments to get something. Instead, he uses them to genuinely acknowledge the qualities that deserve to be recognized. So, as we've seen today, when you learn how to give compliments the right way, you're not only building connection, but you're also positioning yourself as a man who values authenticity and emotional strength. The Stoic approach to compliments shows us that true value isn't about flattery or superficial praise. It's about recognizing what's truly valuable in others and expressing that with sincerity. Remember, compliments from a place of genuine respect and clarity create the strongest connections. They show that you're a man who is in control of his emotions, who sees beyond appearances, and who values others for who they truly are. So the next time you want to give a compliment, ask yourself, am I doing this from a place of genuine admiration? If yes, then go ahead and make that compliment, because it's coming from a place of true strength. And now that you know how not to compliment her, want to take it to the next level? Click on the video right here on your screen. Top 3 forbidden compliments that make women drool over you. And learn exactly what to say to spark instant desire without sounding needy or fake. Trust me, once you master these, you'll never look at compliments the same way again. And hey, if this video helped shift your perspective, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.